Okay, full time at Adidas Park. It was 0-0 Nashville SC versus Inter Miami. I'm here with Spencer. We're going to do our player ratings for this evening's game. I think kind of a bit of a little bit disappointing for me, but a little bit of a disappointment, but it's not the end of the world. What was your take on that overall?
Overall, I think they did excellent. I think the first time that they met with Miami, they kind of did a similar performance, only they got to break up the tie at the end. So I was really impressed by how we held them off.
Yeah, for sure. I feel the same. I think it's not a bad result to carry into next week. And we've got the away goal option, of course. So if we can grab a goal, they've got to score twice as many, basically. All right, we're going to jump into the player ratings themselves. I'm going to start with Brian Schwacke. I'm going to give him a 7. I think he looked good on the ball. I think his distribution was good over the back. I think he looked good against Noah Allen in terms of the ball that he was giving to Espinoza. That was clearly a game plan of ours today, just hit the right back, their left back, sorry, with that ball. And I think overall his distribution with his feet was pretty solid. He did go down with an injury at one point. I was a bit worried about that. But I think overall, sound about right to you?
Yeah, I think that's a solid 7. I think I might dial it back a little bit because there wasn't a lot of action. He wasn't really in play so much. Nashville always brings it back to the keeper to kind of reset that defense, and I think he played in really well where they've had that traditionally.
For sure, yeah. I get that for sure. Somewhere around there. Okay, Anya Nahar.
He's always been a great performer. I think tonight, as he followed up, ran down so many times, I think he provided a lot of the opportunities that were missed by the rest of the team.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was way more defensively solid than I thought he'd be today. That was one thing I thought. I was worried about that area, to be honest with you, but honestly, there wasn't much coming down that side. I think he did a really good job.
Yeah, no, I think he was open. He was able to connect, and his reception and his send-off were always on point.
Yeah.
So I think as far as number-wise, probably I'm going to put him up at an 8.
Okay, wow, love it. Okay, I'll do Jason Palacios. I'm going to give him... I can't give him less than a 7. I think he was aggressive in the right way. I think I'm going to be real. I think my ratings were a little inflated because of our opposition, but I think he was really good in terms of his interceptions. He was aggressive with the ball. He managed to manage the chaos in the box, I think, pretty well. He also had a great couple of flick-ons at corners. We nearly scored from at least 2 of those. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 7. Thoughts on that?
I think you're right. I would agree with on the 7. I think his performance in the box as well as on the sides to bring it in, I really still hurt over all of the opportunities we've missed tonight.
Yeah, I get you completely. Okay, Waleji.
You know, he's always fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's always the crowd pleaser. He's always ramping it up. I think tonight, especially against Messi, he really proved that he had a skill that Miami wasn't expecting. Yeah. So number-wise, I'd put him up more towards the top of the team, 8.5 to 9.
Wow. Okay. Go on. Are you gonna go for the 9?
I'll go for the 9. I'll give him.
We don't do half, so
Okay.
We'll go for the 9. I love it. Yeah, I think he was great. I think he had times Messi was looking around going, "Who are you?" And this guy coming over from the Norwegian league, playing against the best that's probably ever kicked the ball to some extent, in some people's opinion. That's a good performance. Okay, left back is, for me, we had Reed Baker-Whiting. Ooh, interesting one. I'm going to give him a 7. I was impressed with his defensive work because I've been worried about that for a long time. And I thought there were a number of headers that came in. He read them perfectly. He got on the end of it. He made an awesome crunching challenge right in front of us at the end, which was fun to watch. And here, that sounded like a big hit on, was it Allende? I think it was Allende. And overall, I thought he moved the ball well. He progressed well. He had the energy. He was on the whole game, which I was impressed by, the fact that he had that stamina. And I like the fact that he can go either way with the ball. He did come inside, play some nice balls inside, and so on. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a 7. How's your thoughts on that?
I think I'd be a little more conservative, as what I saw from the back line, he's still trying to earn his stripes. I think I'd go more 6. I'm solid with 6, I think.
Okay, I can feel that. Okay, Yazbek.
Yazbek. Wow, great performance tonight. So really, I've been on the fence with Yazbek. worried that he's really going to fit into the team, whether his head was really with us. And I think tonight he really pulled us together. I'd give him a 7.
Yeah, I feel like I would. Maybe I'm being too generous. I'd maybe even edge it to an 8. He was everywhere. Schwacke, that shot at the end where I think we were all stood going, how did he miss that one? That was a Yazbek pressure. I don't know if he made contact with the ball, but he was definitely right there. And I think in the last game or two, he's really come into his own. He's always been a player that I've loved, and I thought he had the qualities, and I thought maybe he was a bit underrated by NSC fans. But over the last few games, last game with the man of the match performance, and today just really, really good, really solid. So I'm going to move to Corcoran. He's that kind of workhorse. He's always doing something. He's always around it. He pressed really well, I thought, in that first half. He was around Messi. He was around all of that midfield. And I felt actually at times he was being dragged around a bit too much. Like he wasn't really able to do his work. He was being there in that kind of, I don't want to be rude or derogatory, like guard dog kind of role, like in that midfield, really pressing. So I'm going to give him, what would you give him? What was your take on that one?
I'd go for me. For Cochran tonight, I think he had missed so many opportunities to engage. He stood in the middle of the entire Miami defensive force and just stood there for several seconds and did nothing. Didn't engage, didn't move forward, didn't try to pass along. And my heart broke. I was just happy he didn't get a yellow or a red like he had previous. I think he's really aggressive. He's an aggressive player, and he does get out there. I saw him overstep, and I was worried that he was going to start pulling those cards again. Yeah. I think tonight I'd give him a solid 5.
Okay, all right. Well, let's meet in the middle with a 6. Okay, let's do that. That sounds good. Okay, who else have we got? We had Hani in the middle, kind of in the middle. Yeah, you go for that one.
I've always loved Hani. Hani is an incredible player, always knows what he's doing. I watched his TikToks. He's so professional. I don't know if you've seen those. They're incredible.
I saw the Ramadan one on Instagram, I think.
Yeah, okay. Tonight, I think Hani really tried to get in there and make it happen. I'd always rate him high, but tonight I think I'm going to pull him at a 7 for a solid performance.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that he didn't have the biggest impact as maybe he could. I think they knew he was a player to watch, and they managed to break up the way he plays quite well, I think, to be honest. And some of those transition balls I was expecting, maybe he got a couple out to Espinoza, but I think most of it was being serviced elsewhere rather than through him today because of how they played against him, basically. So I'm going to go to Madrigal. Oh, man. I don't know what to... He missed a lot of chances today for me. I don't think it was a bad performance. I think he did track back. I think he tried really hard. I'm just going for my standard 6 with this one. I don't think he did more than that. But he did try. He worked defensively well, but he did and he got into the positions. He just didn't finish. I think that's the thing for me. He got the positions, just didn't finish. What would your take on that be?
I've been watching Madrigal the last few matches, and honestly, I'm worried that he is pulling away from the team and kind of going more individual. We watched that with Schaffelberg and several of the others where they kind of get into their own space, and the synergy in the team doesn't really cohese anymore, and they kind of start making their own plays, and it really leaves that extra play out there. So I'd love to see him really get involved and really connect better. But yeah, I think for me, he's going to pull a 5.
Okay, I can feel that. Okay, so can you give me Sam?
Surridge. He is surprising always. I think tonight he missed several great opportunities, but great performance. Got out there, messed up Messi a little bit, made it a little more aggressive on the field. The kicks that he did were just wide. I think a lot of tonight's misperformance, I'm going to blame on the wet grass. I think I said that earlier, but yeah.
Risky to blame the weather. People that do that online get ripped into. But I won't tag you, so they'll never be able to get to you. It's fine. Okay, so what did you give him as a score?
I'll give him an 8. I think with everything that was thrown at him and all of the versatility all the way to the end, he really did stand his performance in his position well.
Yeah, he was. He put in a shift. He was tired by the time he came off. Sorry. All right, so I'm gonna do Espinoza. Espinoza, I think back to maybe the pre-Minnesota Espinoza. a little bit too much trying to do stuff for everybody else and not maybe doing enough for himself. I wanted to see maybe a shot taken a little bit early. Dane Sinclair's been spilling a bunch of balls, and we saw him do some crazy stuff this evening. And I felt like maybe that was a chance for him. Maybe if you get a few more shots off. I would go for a 6 with Espinoza. Some good deliveries, but I think that's what you expect with him. What's your take on that?
I think you're about right with it. I see Espinoza, again, pulling back, probably opposite of what we just mentioned. I think he has tried to become more part of the team and less part of the forward force that we're missing. I think that if he was able to get more cohesive with it, gosh, I think he's such a strong contender and really could make both Hani and Surridge cohese a little bit better.
Yeah, I will say the one thing I mentioned earlier was his. I was impressed with his ability to kind of win headers and win duels against Allen. That was something that I wasn't expecting to see from him as a player that much. I was expecting more of that kind of right-footed move that you see Espinoza do, that cross in, a little bit of curl. But yeah, so I was impressed with that today, but I think a 6 sounds about right. Okay, who have we got for subs? Bauer came on.
Bauer's new to the team. Bauer's got a little bit more to prove, so I don't want to say that he had a stellar performance tonight, but I think he held his own. He didn't create a weakness. So solid 5. I'm going to keep that 5, right?
Yeah, okay, I get it. I think he did well defensively. He made a couple of challenges at the end, which are important. Who else have we got? We have, from Wheel came on as well. I might even give him a 7. I think the energy he came on and showed, he made some damage outside the box. There was the shot that he had that went for a corner. He's getting really involved. And at the start of the season, I was a bit worried about his involvement in the play and the way that it was very fluid, the way that everyone was interchanging. But actually, as the last couple of games have gone on, I mean, the Champions Cup first game, wasn't sure about his first appearance in the league. Then that second Champions Cup game came around and he felt a bit more creative, like he'd kind of taken the shackles off, was being more involved in that kind of play, that flair way that we're trying to play. And I'm starting to see that a bit more now from him. How do you feel about that?
I like Alex a lot. I think he's always been a solid player. And if last season, he really pulled it out for Nashville. I'm really expecting to see him really get into the team and do, again, a great performance. Tonight, yeah, I'll pull him in a 7 because I really do think he stepped in. And like you said, when he got onto the field with Texeth, the energy on the field changed. Yeah. And the team really woke up. And that we really needed that.
Yeah, do you want to do Eddie then while we're there on Texeth?
Yeah, Eddie's a great one to watch. He faced Messi in a very different way. Messi actually did a slide tackle right at the end there under Eddie, and I was amazed that Messi thought him as much of a threat to go after him. I've never seen him I saw Fafa do that to Messi when they first met, and to see Messi do that to Eddie that said something about Eddie as a player. He's a ball of energy. He's definitely kind of a mascot on the field, really brings the team in and really brings the crowd in. Yeah, Eddie is always going to be at an 8 or a 9 for me. Tonight, solid 9. I think he really made some opportunities just in both his defensive and his offensive. That kid has wheels. He can get from one side to the other.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, energy. Definitely energy. You felt the energy shift. I can feel that. Okay, and then Pasillas, he didn't come on for very long. I'm going to say just like my standard 6. He just didn't really have to. Didn't do anything wrong. Didn't do much. Like, barely worth mentioning, really. He was just there. Just gave Sam a bit of a break at the end when Sam was kind of puffing. So I think that's that on that. Okay, can we have a rating for the referee?
Well, I think we talked about that a little bit. I was surprised that Nashville got so many fouls called in their favor tonight. That is usually not the case. And as a fan, I try to be, non-biased, stand back and be neutral. Tonight, I saw a lot of calls on Miami that were legitimate. Now, not to say that there weren't some that didn't get any calls at all and we kind of walked past, but the refs tonight, I'll give them a 7. I'll be generous.
Nice. I'm upset they didn't give the Messi the yellow card for the old Messi. Every week, I don't know if you heard me screaming behind up there, but I was the only person that probably screamed their lungs out about a yellow card this evening. But every week I see Messi lying on the floor on MLS, on Apple TV, going, the rest of the world gets a yellow card if they do that. But Messi doesn't. That drives me mad. But I would agree. I think there was quite even calls overall. I think he managed it well, and he didn't go over the top on like the schwacky kind of time. Dark arts, spending the time a little bit, however they wanted to spend it, you know. Okay, cool. Let's talk about BJ Callahan. What would you give him as a rating for today?
I saw Callahan do several calls from the sideline, really trying to get the team focused and redirect some of the calls, redirect some of the. So his involvement to the team has always been impressive with the team, and I'd say tonight was no different. He really does help the team communicate.
Happy with the subs and the timing of the subs and everything? The right people you wanted to see come on?
I think Sam's sub could have come earlier. I don't think Passius really got the opportunity to shine.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna give him a rating.
Rating for BJ, 7. I'll keep him with the crew.
7. Okay, cool. And then fans. I was impressed with the fans today. I think the fans turned out. I was not expecting the fans to turn out. All of my socials, my TikTok, my Instagram were, is it raining today? Oh, is it going to be raining? But honestly, I think that's the busiest it's been. Like the start of it, if you looked up in sort of all the 200s on that side, completely full pretty much right to the back. And then the bottom down the front started filling up too once there was no space up there. Like the ponchos were out, everyone was just there. What would you give the fans overall?
Fans are always a 10. Fans are a 10. Tonight, 25,000 out here in tornado warning weather with rain that started at 60 degrees and now we're sitting below 50. I think the fans really, they were here for the team.
Love that. Love that. All right. Okay. Well, that's it. Those are our player ratings. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know how you're feeling about this game 2 overall and that leg in Miami. Thanks to Spencer for coming on to this one. Appreciate it massively. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to BTV, and we'll see you in the next one.